Hi. Oh, is this okay? Hi, I'm Lydia C. I use she, they, and y'all pronouns. I'm an artist and educator. I'm a queer woman, a cultural Jew, and I'm living on stolen Cherokee land. I hold white privilege, I'm anti-racist, and I'm actively engaged in dismantling white supremacy. I founded Engaging Collections, a residency and publication at the intersections of equity and art to demystify access to special collections and archives and amplify the indispensable role that artists play as cultural translators within community. We celebrate the agency and autonomy of claiming space in history and building community. We are all archivists in some form, and we want to spread the message that everyone belongs and everyone's history is important within archives and special collections. So what is an archivist? A lot of people probably picture images like these when you imagine an archivist, and frankly, it's not far off. Library science has been an overwhelmingly white profession, although thankfully that's changing because of organizations like We Here, which is a supportive community and seeks to recognize, discuss, and intervene in systemic social issues that have plagued the library sciences both currently and historically. So the most inclusive definition of an archivist from the Society of American Archivists is archivists are people who are professionals responsible for records of enduring value. But my question is, and the basis of our work with Engaging Collections, is who or what defines enduring value? So the responsibility of archival interpretation shouldn't rely solely on those who provide a scholarly framework, much of which is rooted in colonization and extraction, but instead should include those who contextualize through practice and lived experience. Memory institutions such as libraries, archives, and special collections, as well as museum collections, are repositories for material culture and the evidence of the human experience. But absences, silences, and missing contexts within these collections demonstrate a persistent and intentional omission of narratives from marginalized and oppressed people. And thus power, agency, and authority are withheld from those who may not have access to the records within which they are described and or intentionally omitted from. So I want to state something really important here, which is that I don't mean to devalue the archival and library science professions. I say everyone is an archivist, but many of these people are highly trained and have spent a lot of time learning how to properly handle and manage and process these materials. I'm not claiming that anyone off the street should start going in and handling unique, irreplaceable materials or rearranged collections. I'm suggesting that the archival field is experiencing a massive shift in the way that materials are interpreted and made accessible to the public. And it's important to acknowledge that whiteness has historically been the default lens through which art, culture, and collections have been contextualized. And it's time to decolonize the archive. Jasmine Wahi, social justice curator at the Brooklyn Museum, believes that one of the reasons racism is so endemic is because most, not all, institutions were founded to preserve a certain type of history, which is only now being reconciled as singular and exclusionary. So what exactly does that mean? Well, I believe that everyone has the agency and should have the access, power, and support to contribute to archival collections, the contextualization of these collections, and the interpretation of the materials within. Everybody should get an archive, and everybody has an archive, and everybody's an archivist. Essentially, our ephemera and documentation of our own lived history is as important as what's already in there in the prevailing records that we've gotten used to. So, for instance, the special collections at Pack Memorial Library in downtown Asheville, special collections manager and lead archivist Catherine Calhoun Cutshaw and team started the Black Asheville History Harvest program. And this is Miss Sophie Dixon being interviewed as part of that, in the hopes of making their collection more representative of Asheville's diverse history and community. They invited members of the community to bring their family pictures and ephemera in to be scanned on site and then returned and added to the collection. And so now, in addition to hundreds of images of white people on the Blue Ridge Parkway, we now have this image of Clifford Cotton III, grandson of E.W. Pearson, who was a visionary entrepreneur and community builder in Asheville, with his auntie posing on the Blue Ridge Parkway. This is what history looks like. So Engaging collections facilitates artists to act as translators for history. And through funding and mentorship and support, we work with artists and library science professionals, like these folks right here, to build bridges between art and library science. Our current resident, Honey Simone, is in the process of a collaboration with Pack Memorial Library and Catherine Calhoun Cutshaw. Honey's revitalizing the special collections room, and Honey and Catherine, with support from Honey's production collective Different World, are transforming it into a more inclusive and inviting environment featuring the Carolina Record Shop, which is an installation designed by Honey featuring music, images, and stories of Black Asheville. That's all I'm able to share at the moment, but stay tuned because it's going to be big. Through amplifying these underrepresented and overlooked narratives within collections and archives, expanded engagement becomes a much more organic process. And my hope in sharing this information is that each of us, especially those whose lived experience is underrepresented or misrepresented in archival collections, history books, and classrooms, as well as well-known local legacies, will feel empowered to get involved with intentionally saving their history, because we're already doing it through Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and through metadata. Everyone is already an archivist. So we could get involved by getting our collections to be included in our local history collections, like the Buncombe County Special Collections. For more information on how to get involved or to get your history added into the local legacy and communicate with Catherine Calhoun Cutshaw or Honey at the library, you can visit us on our website, and the link will be dropped in the chat in just a moment. Thank you.